want the battle to end all battles. I just want battle forever as long as there are people. Right? The battle to end all battles isn't good for business. Right? It's not good for who it is that I am. Right? This idea that, oh, there is a final bad guy, a pure manifest evil, and the ultimate conclusion of all of this historical narrative, in a Hegelian sense, is the progression towards the perfect battle. I mean, that's a mind beep, right? It's a mind beep. Right, the manifestation of this perfect ideological battle, as manifest, not ideologically, as manifest biologically in the ultimate domination of good over evil. But what does that really look like? Right? Nietzsche would say, after you killed all of those people and all that blood was shed, and after all that bloodlust was satisfied, you would still find an opportunity in those who remain to recognize that duality. That no, I still have that primordial state. It's still there. So what, am I going to kill him again? Well, I mean, you can't, because now you're supposed to be in a state of perfection. And thus Nietzsche says the contradiction, and that's why he completely divorces himself from that narrative of a will to good. Now, that's pretty abstract. I don't think it's too complicated. I think, of the lectures that I've given, this section 10.3 is takes a while to really embrace it. A lot of people will find this interesting. A lot of people will be intrigued by it. Maybe one person, maybe two people, this will change your life. It changed my life when I made the recognition, right? It totally transformed the way that I am, because I recognize that for me, I put a lot of faith in the law. So when the law fails me, I mean, that's not an opportunity, right? There is no opportunity for the law to fail. The law really does need to be just. It really does need to be fair, right? And the corruption of the law is really one of the most egregious offenses a human being can commit, because that's the only thing that we have. If you're an egoist, if you're secularist, if you're a human secularist, the only thing that you have is the law, because we don't really have to ascribe to morality. We can be moral people, but we don't need to ascribe to morality in order to be moral. What we do, we ascribe to sort of personal etiquette and desire and relationships and so on, but it really is the law. So when it's the case that, for selling exactly the same product, cocaine, crack form, powder form, you get more time for crack form than you do powder form, that's not fair, right? That's bias in the law. I've written on this, in disposable literature, but the idea is, it needs to be that. The law really needs to be that thing, that final sense of justice needs to be preserved in that, right? But it's a bit laughable. It's a bit laughable. And I do have, if I have only one other interest in this world would be maybe law. But if I do law, I would never make any money. I'd do all pro bono work, and I don't know what I'd be doing law. And I'm getting too old to be going back to school, so, but yeah, okay. So I'm going to give you an example now of this, okay. Again, just so you understand the context for the example, Nietzsche is saying, and Apocalypse Now it's Nietzsche on film, is basically what it is. Apocalypse Now is Nietzsche on film. What ends up happening is we need to recognize that the individual isn't exclusively either good in entirety or either evil in entirety, that we are one and the same, and that it's not a bad thing, that it just is. And what we need to do is we need a system of regulation, which we'll get later, a system of regulation in accordance with the law that allows us to indulge in that primordial bit sometimes, right? Because if there isn't ever an opportunity to indulge, you're going to have problems, which is precisely why I'm so pro-porn. I'm totally pro-porn. You need pornography in society, and you need lots of it. You need to regulate the type of pornography, but I'm a firm supporter and believer of pornography, right? Because if you get rid of that means of indulgence, I don't have the means to satisfy this primordial urge to do whatever it is that you might have your primordial urges to do via pornography, it's problematic. This is why I also support rated M and maybe even more rated A video games, right? If I don't have the primordial urge to satisfy the ability to take up a shotgun and run through town and start killing people by playing GTA, or doing 12 consecutive hours of combat, sniper killing and stabbing and what have you, playing whatever virtual game that I play, well, I might be the type of guy that needs that out in the world. We need these vehicles of purgation, if you will, right? We need these vehicles to get this desire out. So, in a sense, the individual actor is definitely deemed immoral. The act of masturbation, the act of indulging in pornography, oh, that's absolutely off limits. That's immoral. The point is that it's not illegal. And insofar as it's not illegal, there is a vehicle legitimized within society to relieve in sort of a grotesque sense, right? Dr. Campbell, he doesn't have any standards. He's even going to talk about masturbation and pornography. I am, right? We all do it. The idea is that it serves a social purpose. Right? It serves a social purpose. It lets us recognize that, no, you are both those people. You can be the stand-up guy. You can be, the button-up person, but you can also be this very sort of, it doesn't have to be fiendish either. It doesn't have to be fiendish. It doesn't have to be anything disturbing and sickening. But you are also this person who participates and indulges in primordial activity. And this quote from the Colonel, Kurt, who played by, obviously, Marlon Brando, one of the last scenes is just perfect. And I actually want to analyze, let me see how long this is. How much time do I have? I actually want to analyze this bit. This is profoundly amazing. This is what he says, right? He says, I remember when I was with Special Forces. Seems 1,000 centuries ago. We went into a camp. First I'll read it sort of quickly through, just to get the tone, and then I'll go a little slower. So, I remember when I was with Special Forces. Seems 1,000 centuries ago. We went into a camp to inoculate some children. We'd left the camp after we had inoculated the children for polio. And this old man came running after us, and he was crying, the old man. He couldn't say. We went back there, and they had come and hacked off every inoculated arm. So we went and inoculated the kids, and then the men presumably, came in and hacked off all of the inoculated arms. They were they were in a pile, the arms, a pile of little arms. And I remember I cried, I wept like some grandmother. I wanted to tear my teeth out. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and and I want to remember it. I never want to forget it. I never want to forget it. And then I realized, like I was shot with a diamond bullet through my forehead, and I thought, my God, the genius of that, the genius of hacking off the arms. The genius, the will to do that. Perfect, genuine, complete, crystalline, pure. And then I realized they were stronger than we, because they could stand it. These were not monsters. These were not monsters. These were men. I think trained. It should be trained cadres. These men who fought with their hearts, who have families, who have children, who are filled with love. Men filled with love. That they had the strength to do that. If I had 10 divisions of those men, then our troubles here in Vietnam would be over very quickly. You have to have men who are moral, and at the same time who are able to utilize their primordial instincts to kill without feeling, without passion, without judgment. Without judgment. Because it's judgment that defeats us. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I mean, that's